It's official, Ward and Bane are being removed from New World. Play the clip.
We're going to go even better. As we discussed, Wards and Banes are going to be making an exit from New World, and it will not resurrect.
So this is something that they strongly hinted at before, but they spoke about how they might remove it or combine it, and we weren't really sure where they were going. However, in today's Forged in Aeternum, where they answered some community questions, this issue was brought up actually I think 2 or 3 times. And it's pretty clear that they are removing it. It is going to be making an exit from the game before the end of this year, which basically means it's getting removed in the expansion. For a lot of people, that is great news. And I completely agree with what they say. They talk about how the Ward and Bane system pretty much is requiring prep, and it's a lot more prep than they anticipated, and actually it's not that much fun. And I completely agree. I think I've been saying that probably now for like a year. I've been saying it for a long time. And we know now without a shadow of a doubt, it is being removed. That is great news. And what they actually sort of said they are leaning towards right now is instead of having it be gems or the trophies or anything like that, that they're actually just thinking about increasing the potion duration so that it lasts the entire expedition. And I'm completely on board with that. Getting a potion as prep is a lot less annoying. I think this is going to come with the absolute massive change to gearing, and I'm completely on board with this as step 1. Not only that, they also spoke about how they do want to maintain some of the PvE and PvP perks, which I'm sort of on board with enough. I think that makes enough sense. And they actually spoke how this will allow them to do crazier things in PvE, while maybe not affecting PvP. Which again, sounds quite cool. I'm sort of remembering that leak from the past, but I'm pretty sure that leak is not going to be true. But it's interesting to hear that they are going to keep them separate. On a personal note, I just think that's the best thing they could do right now. I sort of wish they did it 6 months ago. Actually, I wish they never implemented it, but better late than never. Now, one thing that they pretty much give away right at the very start of the Q&A today is that they are not yet ready to talk about the expansion. They want to focus on Season 2. Now, Season 2 is probably going to be quite quiet. It's releasing effectively in the middle of summer, generally a quiet period just for MMOs in general, and a quiet period for New World specifically as well. So what this basically means is we're not going to hear anything about the expansion until Season 2 is over. That makes sense. It's like it's over in about 10 days. But then I think probably a month after Season 2, things are going to start ramping up and we're going to get a lot of information very quickly, I think. There were obviously other questions that were asked and answered. One was about the time to kill, and they said actually, yeah, the time to kill is a little bit quick now, but it's not overly quick, and that they might slow it down a little bit, but they don't think they're very far off. And I actually think I read somebody asking this question, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think if you get focused down, you die very quickly, but that requires like coordination. I do think it probably needs to be slowed down, but maybe that's just to help me because I'm a little bit bad. Who knows, we'll see what they do with that one. Let me know if you're a PvP hardcore enjoyer, what your thoughts are on that one. Somebody yet again asked about hippos. There is no hippo update as of right yet. Now, there was a question about PvP content. They tend to always hint that they are working on PvP content. We know that they are working on those influence changes, and we know that's pretty much going to be, I think it's going to be like 3 areas on the map, and then each territory is going to be like pushable at a set time, and what they're trying to do there is create like hotspots for PvP. Even if you're not necessarily interested in the territory system, you could go along and maybe casually just troll with a group of your friends or something. That's all good, that's sort of what they want. I suspect the hardcore war people will be a little bit annoyed about having to actually engage in PvP, in the open world PvP rather than like wars, but that's fine, it is what it is, that's how the game's going to be designed. Personally, I still want to see major changes to the warring system, but we'll not talk about that just yet. Interestingly, they did talk about the Season 3 Heartrune, and they yet again once said that they are not going to be doing that many Heartrunes in the future. They want to slow down a little bit there, I guess because they don't want to just keep adding like useless ones, they want them to be relevant and interesting, and if you just keep adding them, then they're going to lose sort of like the sex appeal in a way. What they said about the Season 3 one though is that it's like the most interesting one they've done, or it's maybe like pushing the boat out the most, if that makes sense. Obviously, without knowing exactly what they're talking about, I can't really give any insight into that, but it does sound interesting. I'm happy to see that they're going in a more sort of wild direction, I guess. And then honestly, there probably wasn't much else in this Q&A, and it all boils down to the fact that they're not talking about the expansion. We know what's coming in Season 2, We've seen it now on the PTR for a while. We know they're working on Cross-Realm Outpost Rush. We know that kind of stuff. There's not much new that they can talk about right now. Because of the timing of this Q&A, they can't really say much. Their hands are a little bit tied. I'm guessing that them talking about the gear and it being like Ward and Bane being removed is probably to appease the people who's worried about the gear reset. Now you know what kind of changes they're making, and I think that's going to appease quite a lot of you. It definitely appeases me. Now that I know that I don't have to do that system in the expansion, I am delighted. It sort of takes away some of my worries about the upcoming system. But they're obviously not ready to really say too much just yet. I still think the future is bright for New World, even though the play numbers are quite low. But I think that's just an indication of the fact that the game's 2 years old at this point. There's not been much content really in the last coming months, and the expansion's just around the corner. So join me on this copium train. I'll be riding it till the end. Big shout out to my YouTube members and the people who follow me over on Twitch, and also subscribe on Twitch actually. Big shout out to you guys. What you should definitely do though is have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.